Hi, this is Chloe here at Inner Whispers. After my recent video about using a pendulum, calibrating a pendulum, I was asked what the best kind of pendulum is. And my answer to that is that there really is no such thing. So I thought I'd do a little show and tell video of the things that I've used as pendulums to kind of demonstrate that. So the pendulum that I showed in the video about pendulums is probably my favourite. It's one that I got back at a conference, a tarot conference, nearly 10 years ago now, and it just wanted to come out with me. I asked every pendulum in the shop if they wanted to come, and this was the only one that said yes. And I've got quite a few that are that same style, so I like this kind of crystal connection. This is a rose quartz one, so good for doing spells around self-love or romantic love, whatever, that kind of thing. So these ones are very nice. They're made to measure. The sort of chain is good length. The pendulum is nice and weighty. The crystal, I always love crystals. It's that kind of earth connection, and that works really well for me. I also have this one, which, let me show you that closer up. It looks quite rough and ready, but it also works really nicely. And there's another crystal at this end. But you really can use anything that has a kind of weight at the bottom. So for example, this is a necklace that I've had for over 2 decades, and let me show you that. And this can be used perfectly well. It has a little crystal point at the back and a couple of dolphins at the front. You can see they're a bit tarnished. I should probably use some silver polish on this, and that works perfectly well. I have another which is also sort of a necklace, so I do wear this as a necklace sometimes, but it works very nicely. This, once again, it's citrine, which is a beautiful crystal for working with your solar plexus chakra, so that's lovely. And it doesn't have to be a metal chain, it can be any kind of chain. Here's another rough crystal point that I think this is just kind of fabric, plastic even, but it works fine as a pendulum. It works very nicely, in fact. And here is a little necklace that came with an oracle deck. I think it was maybe the Oracle of the Dragon Fae, something like that. And obviously it's much lighter than the crystals, but it still works really nicely, and no problem at all. Even though it's a ribbon, that works fine. Or you can go to the other end and have something really big and heavy. That would also work absolutely fine, and that's on kind of leather cord. It's almost like shoelaces. That still works absolutely fine as a pendulum. Or going the all metal route and taking after the kind of mesmerists of old, you can have a little fob watch on the end of a chain. You can also make your own pendulum at home, and here we have a paper clip on a bit of thread. Doesn't look very pretty, but it does the job just fine nevertheless. You do need at least a little something to give it weight, but for example, I haven't ever used this because I'd always have something nicer to hand, but you could even use some kind of tag. This is literally a tag off a product, and you could use that. It has a weight, it has a string, that'll work just fine. It will do the job. It won't look pretty while it's doing it, and you might feel a bit silly, maybe not, but it will do the job. Or even I have used some mala beads, and I find it easier holding it from this end so that you have the whole of the drop there. So you don't actually need a weight at the very bottom, you just need something clear and firm to hold, and that the thing beneath it be weighted, but this one will work fine as a pendulum. You can also use it the other way around. I did test this out, holding onto one bead carefully, and then you have the drop part would act as your pendulum at the bottom. I find it easier holding it from this end, but even if you have a string, you could use that, and a string of something as a necklace, you could use that as well. And that's it. You can use, as I say, almost anything. Almost any kind of necklace will do the job very nicely. So although you can get some really beautiful crystal pendants or crystal pendulums, and you can also get metal pendulums, you could literally use a stick that you picked up on a nature walk and tie that with a bit of string. That would still be a lovely natural pendulum. If you find something like a hagstone, a stone that naturally has a hole through it, that would work wonderfully as a pendulum as well. So you don't have to go out and buy a crystal pendulum, you don't have to do anything like that. I quite like having a variety of things. As you can see, a lot of these are actual necklaces that I would wear anyway, so it's the kind of thing that if I ever needed a pendulum, I have one to hand because I've got it around my neck. So that's my pendulum show and tell. Blessed be.